Welcome to the Midnight Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Easton Bennett, alongside my fellow co-host, Tyler Sinden. We are both entrepreneurs who are learning, growing, and building our own businesses. Our goal is to share our experience and knowledge to help you grow and become a successful entrepreneur. Before we get started, if you have any questions or things you'd like us to cover, you can email us at themidnightentrepreneur@gmail.com. And we will talk about it right here on this very show. If you haven't already, share this podcast with a friend or a foe so we can do this 100,000% full-time, nothing else, only this podcast every single day. Tyler, what's going on?
Not too much, Easton. Whenever you say the intro, I always go to the emails and see if anyone's emailed us.
Just a quick little reminder.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
no one's emailed us. Carlos emailed us, but I think it's something about podcasts and said we're ranking well in Portugal somehow. So I'm not sure how.
Hey, that's what we like to hear. Carlos, appreciate you if you're listening from Portugal, or if you just stumbled across that stat. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah, it's good to hear. At least we're ranking somewhere.
Exactly. We got to be ranking. Tyler, what has been going on?
We're on the podium.
What's been going on the last week for you?
Oh, not too much, man. I got my client continue to sell in for me. I told you a little bit about this, and he referred another guy to me. I connected with him on Friday or Thursday. I forget when. And yeah, I made these notes the day that I think Thursday. That's when we usually record, because I said I just had my discovery call, and I just had my discovery call with him on like Thursday or Friday. And then this past weekend, I've been working on the proposal to send to him. So I've been working on that a little bit, sent that to you, and I think it took me a little bit longer than I feel like it should have, but I got that done. Going to be sending that off to him tomorrow, and I guess we'll see how that goes.
Hey, that's good.
It's a little bit interesting.
It's always good to get new discovery calls, new clients potentially on the books, and you'll get faster. The more you do those pitch decks, you'll get faster. It's a reps, numbers game.
Yeah, I was doing a little bit distracted at the same time, so that's probably an issue as to why it did take so long, because, you can't multitask. So I was doing a couple things at once, and that probably slowed it down a little bit. I wasn't able to focus completely on it, but you know what? We got it done, and I think it's about ready to send off to him.
Did we talk multitasking last week, I think?
When I said that, I was like, that sounds familiar. So maybe we did.
I think it was something last week, though. If you haven't listened to last week's episode.
We've talked about it previously. I know that for sure, I feel like.
And the overarching theory we keep coming across is that you can't multitask, so we'll burn that in your head again.
It was something about like productivity, or I don't even know. I'll look it up but yeah. And then I also,
buying back your
time. A while ago, I mentioned it on the podcast where I was talking about the other guy that he referred me to, and he never responded to my original email, and I got an email scheduled to go tomorrow, just checking back in with him. I know it's been over a month. So, I mean, better late than never. So checking back in with him, seeing if anything was, if he has any questions or any thoughts, or if what I went over was what he was looking for. But it just made me think, because I know you watched a little bit of the video on the guy where Simon Squibb, where he was talking about going from 0 to 1 million, and he was talking about sales, and whenever someone says no, he doesn't take it as a no, and they're constantly in his system, and he just constantly not necessarily remarkets to him, but it would be like, hey, I found this article, I thought it might be valuable to you. So I was trying to maybe think of something in that regard, but I barely even know this guy. I don't barely even know his company, so it's I don't really know something that could be valuable that I could share with him. So I'm just kind of checking in, seeing how he's doing.
Stalk him on Facebook or LinkedIn or something.
Yeah, maybe he's running a marathon. I can check in with that and be like, hey, saw you running a marathon. That's really exciting.
There you go. Exactly, and you'd have something to talk about. Yeah,
that's actually one thing. You've listened to it. I believe Alex Hermosi talks about that in $100 Million Leads, where it's that's how you can get the opening, where it's you creep their Facebook, you creep their Instagram, whatever you want to do. Mm-hmm. And then that can be your opening. Maybe they just had a kid, and it's oh, hey, I just saw you had a kid. How's that going? Or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then kind of the opening to being able to, so it's not as cold, and it's not as hey, buy my stuff. it's, hey, you're asking about them, and obviously they want to talk about themselves. They might assume you're trying to like sell or something like that, but going with them first is always a good idea.
Or hey, you're a Vikings fan, or hey, I noticed.
We'll cry
especially
together.
if you have something in common together, that's going to be
Right.
even better, because then you can bond over that.
Exactly.
It's really
exactly.
nice. Really nice. Well, glad to hear you've been doing good over the last week, Tyler. Anything else to update the peeps, the fans, the listeners, the watchers, maybe?
Oh, the watchers. I feel like that's about it. Just grinding on YouTube as well. And ever since I started posting shorts again, and we cut off, we made the executive decision on our mastermind that I should stop posting my Zwift workouts. And ever since I did that, my Ironman videos, they hit the algorithm, which is really cool, but it's not like a massive hit but like it's better than what it was before, because I would put like hours into editing, putting it together, filming and all that stuff. And then it would only get like 50 views and just like be targeted towards like the people that are subscribed to me. So it's good to actually get out there and actually in a different audience, and I am gaining some subs, a little bit from my actual videos and a little bit from my shorts that I am posting, which is nice.
Slowly but surely. You can't complain about growth, even if it is slow. And then once you hit that hockey stick, that's when things start to explode.
It's game over. Because I remember when in our mastermind, I remember talking about that, and I'm just like, man, I'm stuck at 1,200, and it's like I'll go up to like 1,201, and then I'll lose 2 people, and then I'm like at 1,999. I'm like, damn, I'm not even at 1,200 anymore. So I think I'm past that barrier now, but we'll just see how it continues to go.
Slowly but surely.
Just got to keep putting in the work.
It's all you can hope for. It's all you can hope for.
I will do what's required. What's going on with you?
So a few updates on my end. Obviously, last week, I think I mentioned it on the podcast that I was in Vegas. I was in Vegas Sunday to Thursday, and then headed to my sister's graduation, which was exciting. I don't know if you saw my Instagram story, but I took her cap and gown and then took a picture with her diploma. And I had so many people swiping up on my story saying, "Oh my God, congrats," or "Oh my gosh, were you taking online classes?" So it's kind of funny. I told no, I just took my sister's shit. So that was kind of a fun little gag joke there. But yeah, Vegas was good. The one thing I wanted to talk about when I was in Vegas, obviously as an entrepreneur, you have some freedom, and I had the freedom to go on what you would call a vacation. And I was actually doing some networking down there, which was exciting. I didn't think I was going to do it, but we went to a show, and this lady came up to me and 2 of my buddies and started chatting us up, talking about, "Oh my gosh, where are you guys from? What do you do?" And they were like, "Oh, we're in school." I told them, I do video production. She said she does marketing for dental offices. And then I said, "Oh, that's crazy." Started talking to her about her job, and she pointed at 3 other people that were also at the show. We were in just like the little bar area before the show started. And she's like, "Which one of those do you think is my boss?" And there was a dorky looking guy that was a little bit shorter, and I was like, "He's too cliche." There's a tall guy with a nice trimmed beard and a Yankees hat or a Dodgers hat or something. And then there was a girl. So I decided to go with the tall guy in the hat. And she's like, "Actually, both of the guys are the co-founders of the company." And they're like, "We're actually looking for video production, like someone to go around and film for dentists and dental offices." So they're like, "Let me go get him." So then they came over. I met the guy. He gave me his number, had me text him. So the plan is this week to follow up. He immediately was like, "Hey, do you want to travel the country and film for us for dentists?" I was like, I would love to. So that was a little bit of exciting thing that happened there in Vegas. Obviously, go on vacation to vacation, but when things like that happen, it is a little bit fun.
So are they remote, or are they in a specific location? Do they only have certain locations that they have dentists, or where would you be? How would that look like? Do you know?
So their headquarters are in Texas. I can't remember if they said Dallas or Houston. It was one of the two, but they solely focus on a dental office, and then I suppose orthodontists. So both of those. And I think what they do is it's mostly website-focused stuff, where they're creating websites specifically for this niche, and maybe blogs and stuff like that. And then they offer content, but they don't shoot the content in-house. So that's where it's kind of a nice little synergy, where I'm like, "Well, I'll just shoot it for you then. I'll travel to these places." And I told them I was trying to get my foot in the door a little bit. And I'm like, oh, I actually have I have a dentist client and an orthodontist client. Maybe we could see what we can do. So I think he was excited about that. But yeah, they don't do it in-house. They outsource all of the video, and they have companies all over the United States that they do these websites for. So kind of a cool connection. Going to reach out to him this week. Hopefully something comes of it.
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Exactly. And you never know who you meet. And that's one thing I'll give a piece of advice on. Obviously, you take a vacation, like I said earlier, you're there to vacation, have fun, forget about work a little bit, but you always got to be on the balls of your feet. If something arises like that, immediately I was like, okay, I got a business card in my wallet. The show was about to start, and he's like, okay, that'd be awesome. I was like, well, hey, how about we exchange information? We'll chat after our little Vegas trip. He's like, yeah, that'd be awesome. And he actually had this like QR code, so he must get, I don't know if he uses this often, but he's like, you got to scan this QR code and it'll automatically put your number in my phone, and then you can just text me. So that's what I did. But always be on your toes. Be ready if there is a networking endeavor or something that could happen. Throw your hat in the ring. So
that's really exciting.
Yeah, it was cool.
Vegas is paying off.
Vegas, exactly. If anything came of it, I lost all my money, but if that turns into a client, dude, all that money I lost, it's basically just
pays for itself.
Exactly. It's cost to acquire one client, $2,500. That's
what it was. Business expense.
Exactly. So, yeah, that was exciting. The other exciting part about being in Vegas is obviously now that I have Spencer editing for me and working with Matt on the pre-production and client relationship side of things, business was getting done while I was in Vegas, not doing much. Matt was answering emails. He was following up with people. Spencer was editing. So it is kind of cool to see that full picture of, yeah, I can take 2-3 days and be gone. Obviously, I was still on my phone. I was answering texts, answering calls, emails, stuff like that. But it is nice to be able to be like, okay, I'm gonna head out for a couple days, and I know that the ship will stay afloat.
Yeah. That's kind of like the buying back your time that we were talking about. So that was the last week's episode where it was buying back your time. And I think we briefly touched on I don't even remember what we were talking about, multitasking.
Yep.
So it's like, yeah, so that's really nice that you got those employees coming for you. And I feel like does that motivate you at all?
Yeah.
To keep growing? I
was thinking that. It's like, it would be awesome if now I could have 5 people doing this, where I have someone that's shooting projects while I'm gone, and maybe 2 editors, and then there's a production manager, whatever that looks like. So it did give me a cool look into the future of, okay, this is how it could look. This is what it could look like. And then I can go, to Windsor and see Tyler, or I can go to Vegas and meet dentists, or whatever it might be. It is kind of a cool look. I was thinking that right after we went into the show.
What were you visualizing?
As far as like the
I was just trying to foreshadow.
Yeah, that is a good foreshadowing because we were going to get into that visualization. But yeah, Vegas trip was good. It's always good to network. The only other update that I have is that today, we're filming this on Sunday, the day before this is released. So I moved my desk and everything into the office today. So that is exciting. Tomorrow will be day 1 of actually commuting to work, which honestly, I'm not going to lie. I was moving my desk out of my home office. I was a little sad.
Oh, wow.
It was a little,
damn.
I don't know, man. It was like, it was making
You just got to buy a second desk.
Yeah, but I really like that standing desk, and it was like $1,500, so I just get a smaller one for my house. Plus, I like the idea of having that there. I don't want to make it comfortable to just be like, okay, I'm going to work from home,
That's fair. Yeah.
So.
Because if you're too comfortable at home, you're just not going to want to leave. I was thinking about that recently too, because like comfortability levels, and it's like, if you're comfortable, it's like, I don't really want to do anything, because like, it's like that metaphor that we talked about a while ago with the dog sitting on the nail, and it's like, it's not uncomfortable to the point where you want to get up and actually do shit or move or whatever it is. So yeah, I get the point of comfortability. So you excited to move into the office? How long of a commute is that?
It's not bad. It's like 7 minutes. But I am excited. I'm excited, but I was a little bit sad. I don't know why. I was documenting it. Obviously, I took a video. I'm like, we're moving the desk out. The office was empty. And it is a little bit like, it's crazy because I've worked at home for 5 years now. So now it's a totally different thing I'm going into. And I was talking to my girlfriend about that, saying, it's crazy. And she's like, well, it's exciting. You're growing. It will be good for you. I'm like, yeah, that is true. So I think it's just kind of a chapter closing. and that's where
Yeah.
the sadness comes in. I don't know if it's really sadness, but it's more so just looking back at all.
Bittersweet.
Bittersweet. That's a perfect word for it, Tyler. So yeah, it
Yeah,
was sad, but I'm excited. I had to go to Walmart. I got like a shit ton of drinks and snacks for the office. That was my first. Went and got a bunch of waters and some Propels and some Lipton teas and everything. So it was good. Some veggie straws. I'm on a real veggie straw kick. No ghosts, no energy drinks.
You? No. No unhealthy shit.
Exactly. No unhealthy
or
shit.
Clean office.
Is healthy as I can get it. Obviously, I can't drink water 24/7. I need some flavor somewhere. I bought a little bottle
Gotta
of
get
Mio.
the coffee. You got the coffee maker in there?
There is a Keurig there, but I'm going to just make my coffee at home every morning like I have been doing. So.
Yeah, but then you can have a couple more at the office or what? You ever got guests in there?
It's true. There is a Keurig there. So if they want to dive into a little bit of bean water, they can. Some bean juice. But yeah, it's good. I'm excited. And probably from here on out, these podcasts will be filmed there. Would be my guess. I don't know if it's going to be starting this coming week or not. Depends when we film. Depends when I can get all my stuff in there. But they will be transitioning to the office. So
Mind Up Business podcast. This one, three dudes.
Three dudes will stay here. We just don't have enough space. Plus, I think it's a little bit easier for a couple of my buddies to just come to my house and do it rather than saying, okay, let's go up to the office. Eventually, I'd love to get it to that point, but we just don't have the space for it right now.
When you got the massive warehouse.
Exactly. Once we have that, then we'll move it up there. But yeah, exciting, and we'll keep you updated as we go. We pretty much got the whole thing painted, and everything's ready. But we got to now it is on to putting up the 2 walls for the conference room and the podcast room. So
You hiring someone for that?
not hiring, but we do know somebody that's going to help. So they're just going to do it out of the kindness of their heart because they're awesome people.
That's nice of them.
Yeah. So see how it goes. The building falls in. I'm not tied to it, so that's all right.
There you go. That's
Tyler,
nice. Big moves.
We like to think so. Anything else we want to update on before we get into this week's topic?
I don't think so. I think that's just about everything.
All right, let's dive in. This week we are talking about the law of attraction. Tyler foreshadowed it a little bit. Visualizing what you think about is what you're going to get. So, Tyler, when we say the law of attraction, what does that mean? What should the people be thinking of?
Basically, whatever you focus on, you will get is the easiest way to sum it up. It might not always be true, but it's a good direction that you can predict on where you'll go, what you'll get. If you believe certain things or if you think certain things, you're more likely to actually get that or go in the direction of that.
And it's a lot like
my thoughts.
It's a lot like manifestation too. You know, if you manifest something, if you manifest something, more than likely you have a better chance of that coming true than if you're not thinking about it or you're not actively trying to pursue it. So I am a big fan of the law of attraction. Do you think it's what's the word? Not debatable, but do you think people are against this? Like
Hocus
they don't
pocus.
believe in it? Yeah. Wizardry?
I would think so. I feel like I used to always think that, especially like with manifestation. But
You didn't think it worked?
I wouldn't say that. It seems more of like hocus pocus type of stuff where it's, you know, like your zodiac sign or whatever the girls talk about with
stars.
Like what month were you born? Yeah, I don't know. The stars align.
Leo.
So I think I thought a little bit about that, but once I started listening to like a lot of these high net worth individuals that are very successful, it's like they all talk about it. It's like, okay, there's got to be some commonality here. So it does make a lot of sense too, because it's like if you're focusing on something, you're more likely to look for it and you're more likely to find it. And it's like those opportunities. Someone might say that they never get good job opportunities or something like that. And if they always say that and they say like nothing ever comes to them or something like that, it could be coming to them every single day, but they're not looking for it and they just don't see it right in front of them. Exactly. So when you flip it around and you say like there's abundance and you're just trying to like fill your mind with abundance, you're going to have a lot more abundance in your life. So it's just kind of flipping your mindset. And like that, I think that's where it makes a lot of sense in my opinion. So I don't know. Did you used to think that or do you still do? Do you not?
before we get into that, I do like the abundance mindset. You mentioned that, and hasn't been something I thought about when we were talking about this episode, but it plays in perfectly. I used to think all the time, oh, there's not enough jobs out there. Oh, there's not enough clients for everybody. Or, oh, you got to battle your competitors. But once you start switching that mindset to an abundance mindset where everybody can succeed, right? Everybody can get as many clients as they can. Everybody can grow a big business, whatever that looks like. You're going to be much more successful. But going back to your question on if I used to think it worked, I always thought there was some merit to it, but I never really practiced it. I never would be like, okay, I want this. This is what I want. This is what I want it to look like. I never was a huge fan of, what do they call them? When you write down your 3 things or you affirmations,
Gratitudes.
Positive affirmations.
Oh, affirmations.
Yeah. I don't know if I believe in that as much.
I'm not big on affirmations.
I am
affirmations
strong.
is like,
I am healthy.
Yeah.
Less of that I believe in, but I do believe in the manifestation, the law of attraction, where the more you think about something, the more that will come to you. And really, to boil it down is, the more you think about positive things, the more positive things will happen, or opportunities. The more you think about negative things and the more you complain, the more of that is going to come to you, because that's what you're looking for. One example I like to use all the time, I think we were even maybe talking about this, Tyler, but when I was looking for my first vehicle, I was 14 or 15 years old. I'll always remember this. I wanted a Dodge Charger, which looking back now is kind of a girly looking car, but I really wanted one. And I had one picked out and I was like, I want this. No one has this car. And once I started focusing on wanting this car and looking for a car to buy, I would look around town and they were everywhere. I saw these cars all the time. I'm like, there's a Dodge Charger. There's a Dodge Charger. There's a Dodge Charger. And you can do the same thing with a colored car. Avenger, that's what it was, not a Charger. Yeah.
Because I remember you told me, you're like, it's Chick's car.
Yeah. The Charger is cool, I think. The Avenger, not as much. But same thing if you're looking red cars, you're like, oh, I want a red car. And then you start looking around, there's red cars everywhere. So whatever you're actually focusing on, that's what you're going to see more of. So if you're in the dating scene and you're like, man, I really want a beautiful blonde girlfriend, whatever that might be, then you start focusing on that. You're going to see a lot more of them out there. Or if in business, if you're like, I really want clients that will pay me over $5,000 or high paying clients, whatever it is, you'll start to see more of those clients. But if you keep being negative and you're like, man, all I get is these $500 clients, they're bad clients, they don't want to pay me, well, they're going to be everywhere because they're going to keep reaching out. You're going to keep being like, yeah, I'll do it. And that's what you're going to fall into. So I do like the law of attraction where whatever you focus on is more than likely going to be what you get back.
There's a good, what's it called? Like practice or little game that Tony Robbins always does. And I feel like I can do it real quick. You can do it. You can partake if you want. And if you're listening, you can partake as well. It's like he tells you to look around your room right now and look for anything red. And it's like red, red, red. Look for red. Try and find red. And it's like, okay, close your eyes and tell me everything blue that you saw. And then it's like...
Nothing.
Exactly, because you were looking for red, and it's like when he does it again, and it's like, okay, look for red, 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 and then it's like, okay, now tell me everything that you saw that's red. You can name like 5-10 things that you actually saw. So it's like what you're looking for, you're actually going to see, even though you're in that specific room. There's gonna be blue things around you. You just weren't looking for it. So it's like a really quick and easy example that I really like. That I do a lot with people, because it's like, even when they're just like being negative, and it's like that simple practice is just like shows you, if you're focusing on these little negative things in your life, you're gonna find more of it. It's like, oh, I don't have any time to do this, or oh, I always have to do that, or oh, I always have to do this, or maybe it's like your partner is like something that annoying that they always do, and you always focus on it. You're just gonna notice every little thing every single time, because that's what you're always focusing on. So like whether you want to focus on something negative or focus on something positive, that's what you're gonna attract.
It needs to be that mindset shift where you're thinking about, if you're one of those people that thinks about all of the negative things, and I have some friends, I have some family that are like that, and you have those conversations like, well, maybe you're focusing too much on the negative, and that's why everything keeps, domino effect. Everything keeps getting more negative and more negative and more negative. If you'd focus on the positive, then you're going to get more and more and more positive things. So, Tyler, if we're looking at obviously how this can be beneficial. We went over a couple of these different points, but why do you think it's beneficial to lay out what you're looking for and maybe have that thought process of, okay, this is the thing that I want?
Just because it helps you look for what you're actually trying to find. Because if you say, I want a building, like you can find any type of building. But like if you want your specific building, it's like, okay, I want a 16-story building that has 30 rooms and 30 offices, whatever it might be. It helps you narrow it down to exactly what you're looking for. And then if you're ever like networking, like say you're in Vegas and you end up finding someone and it's like, this is exactly what I'm looking for. This is what I do. And this is my exact client or whatever that you're actually looking for. It helps you narrow it down and actually be specific on what you're actually looking for. So I think it just helps you narrow it down a lot more to be able to pinpoint exactly where you're going. It's kind of like a map, and it's like you're able to pinpoint where you want to go on that map.
Exactly. Are you going to put a pin, if you say, I want to go to Russia, put a pin just anywhere in Russia and all of a sudden you're in the mountains? Or if you're going to Russia, do you say, okay, I want to go to Moscow, and you put the pin right on Moscow? Because the law of attraction is going to be much more powerful if you're more specific with it and detailed with it. I know we have it at the end of our notes here, but we could talk about it now. The more surface level you talk about things, like Tyler said, if I'm looking to get a building for my business, I want a building. Okay, well, that's not very powerful. But if you say, I want a building and the front has a retractable glass garage door where we can open it and have airflow for our employees, and there's going to be a mezzanine that has desks on top, and then they're going to have big offices with glass doors, that's much better to visualize and more powerful for you manifesting that rather than, I want a building for my business. So get super detailed, get specific on what you want.
So I don't know if that's something that like you're visualizing, but I think at the same time when you're visualizing something like that, it helps paint a picture for your employees and everyone else that is working for you, so they know and understand like what the vision of the company is. It's like, what are we trying to attract? And then it helps them be able to fit their dreams and vision within it. And then at the same time, they're able to look for it as well. So it's like you're passing it on to other people. And like when you are being so specific, like if I say it to you or I say it to Eddie or whoever I say it to, they know exactly what I'm looking for. So then at the same time, they might have their thought on that and they're thinking about it. It's like they meet someone that maybe has this specific building that you're looking for. It's like, oh, I have the perfect person for you. And then it's like, boom. And then you're able to actually connect with that.
And a great example of that is actually how I got into my studio space. I was meeting with a business coach and I said, this is the space I want. I want to have 2 offices. I want to have a conference room. I want to have a podcast room. I want the walls to be this color, blah, 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 blah. And he literally said, this is crazy, like the coincidence, but I have the exact person that might want to partner with you. And that's how it came about to where we're at today. So it's funny that it works like that. When the more specific you get, opportunities seem to fall in your lap a little bit more, or opportunities that are more detailed to what exactly you're looking for.
How is the business coach going? Slight detour.
Yeah, it's good. It's good so far. I've only had 1 call since the actual paid program has started. So we'll see how the next call is tomorrow morning, or when you guys listen to this, it's probably already happened. So see how that goes and see what we can do. But too early to update at this point.
Okay. Maybe we'll get another update later on.
Yes, later on I'll make sure to keep us updated. I'm kind of under a 3-month trial period, so we'll see how it goes after 3 months and then go from there. Tyler, what are your personal experiences with the law of attraction?
Yeah, so I think at a very basic level, and this only started maybe, I don't even know, maybe like 6-ish years ago, and that would be getting into a school. And honestly, like at the time, I was like clueless. I didn't know what I wanted in life, and I was like, I don't know what I want to do, and I just was kind of just aimlessly running around life with no direction. And then I got a thought. It's like, I want to go to school and I want to go to America and I want just basically get out on my own and experience life. So that was kind of like the vision, and that's like what I wanted to attract. So then I just started looking, and then basically I ended up looking for different schools, and then I found schools in America, and because I had that specific goal of where I wanted to go. And then I ended up finding a couple different ones and then started reaching out. And then that's basically what happened. And then my goal there was to graduate, which I did. And then after that, I wanted to get a job. I had the goal of either getting a job in marketing at a big company, say like Adobe or something like that, and be in the marketing department, or get into a small marketing agency and just try and learn as much as possible. I was able to fortunately get into there, and I think that's kind of there. And then basically started my own business. I was like, okay, now I want to start a business. And then I slowly kind of just started like thinking about it, and like I just started taking more steps and like visualizing like what I needed to do, and then the actions I actually needed to do, and then kind of personally doing the marathon and now doing the Ironman. So it's just some different stuff throughout my life in the past like 6-ish years, and started a podcast too.
And it's cool that... Go ahead.
I remember the first day when I got the mic and I sent you a picture. I was like, so when we starting the podcast?
Yeah, and then what did we start, like the next week?
Yeah, it was very soon.
I think it took us a little bit of time to get the name and the graphics and the logo and everything. But yeah, we started very soon after that.
Yeah, I don't even remember why I got this. Maybe it was for YouTube.
Podcast.
I think it was for YouTube. I think the main reason was for YouTube, and then when I was like, I wanted to start a podcast at the same time. I feel like I've always wanted to, so I think that was like an what's the word? Like a secondary benefit to get in the mic as well. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah,
a little cherry on top of the banana sundae.
Yeah, the dessert. But yeah, it's cool that you looked at all of those different things and you did have a goal and a plan. But if Tyler didn't have a plan where he just said, oh, I want to go to college, well, he could have ended up in his hometown, or he could have ended up,
which I did, and I got failed out.
But then he said, I want to go to America. I want to experience that. The American dream. You want
Right. That's exactly what sold me, man. America's got some great marketing.
Exactly. That's what we do best. You should get on America's marketing board.
Yeah.
How do I sign up for that? Who markets America?
That'd be wild. Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool that they do a lot of stuff, get paid by foreign entities. But it's cool that you had all of these different law of attraction aspirations where you thought, I want to start a business. Boom, next thing you know, you started a business. I want to start a podcast. Boom, next thing you know, you have a podcast. So the more you put something into the world, the more is going to come out, and that the world is going to give back to you. I know I did that all the time, especially when starting a business. I always told myself, I want to start a business. I want to have employees. I want to have a studio. Again, that was 5 years ago when I was talking like that. And now 5 years down the road, we're here. So obviously nothing is overnight. You can't say, I want to run an Ironman and then the next day do it because the law of attraction said so. But the more you do it, the easier it is going to come to you, and the more powerful it's going to come to you. So,
yeah. What experiences do you have with the law of attraction?
I just know, looking back when we were doing notes for this show, looking back, I used to complain a lot more. And I used to be one of those people that, I would complain about things and all I would see is the negativity. And especially when starting my business, I would say, there's not enough jobs, there's not enough clients that are paying high enough money. There's not enough this, there's not enough that. And once I switched my mindset that, well, other people are succeeding. I see them all over online. I see them on YouTube, on TikTok, Instagram, everything. All of them are making it work. Why can't I make it work? And that was kind of the mindset shift in my head. That's, okay, maybe it's not a world issue because other people are doing it fine. Maybe it's a me issue. And that's really where the mindset shift came in. And then I started thinking and looking at things a little bit more positive. And that's when I started seeing, okay, when I'm complaining about there not being enough jobs, well, if you look around, there are freaking over 1,000 businesses in Minot. You tell me you can't get 50 of them. You can't get 0.5% of them or 5% of them or whatever it is. So it is that small mindset shift that really put me on the growth trajectory and to actually see things in a different light.
Yeah, it's really interesting, like, especially when you like look back. And for me, like, I used to always reflect on my years and I don't do it anymore. But like just over the past few years, just looking back on like how much stuff like I've actually done, it's like, wow, I've actually done quite a bit more than I actually thought. Because like when you're looking at the micro picture and you're just doing the same thing day in, day out, you don't actually see like the actual big macro of everything that you've actually been doing and everything that you've done. And it's just like really nice to look back, and like I feel like a lot of it does actually start to stem when you do start thinking positively, thinking of like stuff that you want to attract. And like that's how like a lot of the stuff that I feel like I've done over the past years has come about.
It's crazy when you do look back on it from, whether you're looking at over a year or 5 years. If I was looking at the business when I started it, man, did I know nothing. And I thought I knew a bunch. Now 5 years down the road, I'm like, it's crazy how much you can actually learn. But like you said, in the day-to-day, it's like, man, this, the needle's not moving. The needle's not moving. But when you look at it from a third-person point of view, it's the drastic change you see is really cool.
When you zoom out big time. It's funny because like I look back at your old YouTube videos, and if anyone wants to go and check them out, you can check out Easton's old YouTube videos. And it's funny because like this video production guy, and he's recording like half-assed shitty YouTube videos with terrible audio and stuff like that. And it's like, damn, he's come a long way.
Who's going to hire this guy to do video production when his own videos suck ass? So that's really what it boiled down to. And he had no tooth, which is also a little fun. That's a fun part of it.
That was a classic look.
Yeah. I think the real big turning point, and Tyler, you're a part of this too, when I realized I'm like, I want to shoot bigger projects. I want to shoot ads and commercials and things that look like you could put them on TV for a Super Bowl, is when we shot that Jeep spec commercial. And that's when I've always been a huge fan of spec commercials and spec work, because you are producing the content. It was like my last day in Minot. I know. A good thing we got in there because it changed the course of my business. But when you are focusing on what you want, and for me it was, creating the videos that I wanted to create, I wanted people to pay me to do, it's going to come to you a lot more. So that one project that we shot for free just because I wanted to shoot more of these commercials blew up my business and made me over $100,000 from just one person seeing that video. So it was super cool to see that once you're actually, I want to do this. If you want to shoot weddings, start shooting a couple weddings, and then people will start paying you for weddings. If you're Tyler and you want to build websites, build 10 websites for free, and then you have 10 websites to show people, and people will start paying you to do that. So that's one of my favorite examples of the law of attraction, and the Tony Robbins one. I love it. Start using that.
I love it. That's really cool because you ended up landing that retainer client. And that worked out really well for you.
I should give you a bonus. You were in the ad and it made me $108,000.
The talent. That was the talent. And I was flying the drone.
Dude, it was pretty good. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, at that point in my career, my videos were not good, but we somehow made that one look good.
Yeah.
So we buffaloed some people for sure.
I feel like the drone just elevates it. Like, even if it's just like average shots, it just like, it makes it look that much cooler.
Holy shit, did they get a helicopter for that shot? Goddamn right we did. Us two guys.
Yeah.
That was kind of the really, it's funny because we have a podcast now and it all came from, I think that was like the real first time we're like, oh, let's hang out.
Yeah. I mean,
one of the first times.
We somewhat like talked because of through Jack Jam and like filming that stuff. And that's kind of like how we got introduced. And like, I remember you filmed and I just kind of took pictures on my own. I was just like, hey, I have a camera. Can I take pictures?
Yeah.
And I just kind of did that. So there's another law of attraction type thing where I was just like, can I do this? Because at the time that was like one of my passions, one of my hobbies. And I just kind of went into it. But yeah, that's really cool. And I remember you hanging out of the trunk, filming the car and shit like that. You got, I think it was your cousin. You got him to come out and drive.
He was ripping the Jeep in front of the Jeep. We were hanging out with the gimbal. Yeah, dude. And now here we are in episode 88 of the podcast. That's crazy. Almost to 2 years. We're going to have to, is it 2? Yeah, 2 years. We're going to have to do a 2-year celebration.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be close to Ironman, actually.
I suppose.
When the 2 years comes up.
Yeah, 12 plus 4.
We're 10 weeks out.
12
so
plus.
We'll be at about 98. Six episodes shy of 2 years.
Well, 100 isn't 2 years. It'll be 104, right?
104.
Weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be 98.
Yeah.
98 in 10 weeks.
6 weeks. We'll have to go on a little vacation or something for that. Maybe Vegas. I don't know.
Never would have guessed.
Just a thought. If you want to You want to make it?
We'll go to Vegas and network.
Exactly. I know a couple of people now. Tyler, let's maybe talk about a couple other things, some visualization techniques that we use. I know one thing that I've tried to use in the past that hasn't been terribly successful for me because I always forget to look at it, but a vision board. Vision boards are super awesome for everything that you want. Put it on a piece of paper or blow it up, put it on a picture. I know what Tyler does is he does a wallpaper on his phone. So every time he unlocks his phone, he sees he has his 3 or 4 goals?
4.
Yeah, 4 goals on there with a photo. You can see it on the camera if you guys are watching. If you're listening, you're a loser. But you can see your goals right there on the wallpaper. I used to have a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that was printed off with a bunch of pictures of what I wanted. And I looked at it for a while, but then it just sat on my desk and I'd forget to look at it. So I want to get back into that somehow. I just got to figure out a better way to actually remember to do it.
You know what's crazy? I just kind of changed this, and I changed up the actual verbiage of what I put for my goals, and I changed it I made it more other people centric as opposed to me centric. And one of them that I changed it to was help 5 businesses grow. And when I changed it, my client ended up referring me to another guy. So it's just kind of crazy that happened.
What was it before?
It was $100,000 from New Frame. So it was me centric. It was now let's switch it to help other people.
Yeah, I like that. I had to switch mine. Yeah, the revenue, that's one tip, obviously maybe a little bit off topic, but when you're making goals, make it some sort of goal that means something, because the beginning of the year, I think a goal I had was $600,000 in revenue. But what does that really mean, right? Why that number? What does $600,000 mean? It didn't really have a meaning to me. There was nothing, sentimental about it. So I switched it to move into a studio, which obviously I'm in now. So I'm gonna have to readjust my goals because it is May 12th at the moment. So we got some time. It's kind of still good to have that.
Yeah, I feel like it's still good to have the revenue goals and how much money you want to generate, but I think it's better or it's good or complimentary to have these other goals. Maybe I want to help 100 different businesses through video marketing or video production, whatever it might be. So you can still have that revenue goal because it gives you a North Star for the direction of your company. But at the same time, you can still make it customer centric.
And more so think about, if you are making a goal like that, let's say it's $600,000 revenue, why 600,000? At least put some thought behind, what does that do? For me, maybe it's okay, then you can hire 3 people. And then you can do this. Or if you have 600,000, I'm going to get a building after I get that. So at least have some reasoning behind that. Put some thought into that. And it might help you a little bit more to achieve that goal, hit that goal.
Do you have an example or a goal that you set and then you kind of actually made it happen and you attracted to it?
Well, this is the 2nd year of really doing goals, and it kind of started when we started doing our mastermind and this podcast. But before, I would never really set goals or write them down anywhere. And once we started doing that,
just kind of went with the flow.
Yeah, I'm it'd be cool to have.
And your business took off.
Yeah, it's cool to have this. I want an employee. Okay, what does your employee do? Is he an editor? Is he a shooter? Is he a salesperson? Getting more specific, like we talked about earlier. But yeah, I haven't seen one where I'm I crushed this out of the park. I mean, this year, I guess, hire an editor. I have an editor now. Move into a studio. I'm in a studio now. So hitting those. But to me, those are smaller milestones because I feel like they're almost going to happen inevitably.
They're like stepping stones.
Exactly. So setting that big milestone goal, I'll have to get to that point. But 600,000 would probably be that goal right now.
Gotcha. But
I think setting
the goals helped you.
Yeah, 100% for sure. And especially that we talk about them so much. We have our mastermind weekly where we think about it weekly. And even if you thought about it daily, that's going to be even better. But I think a really good one to have right now, and I was looking at this last week actually, is have $100,000 in a bank account or somewhere. I think that's a good number.
What does that do for you?
I think that just gets you to the freedom level, right? Because once you hit that level, I think it opens up your view. And I was listening to this somewhere, but They say getting the hardest $100,000, the first $100,000 like liquid is the hardest thing to do.
What about the first million?
That's probably easier. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Really?
I don't know because I haven't done either. But I feel like once you get to 100,000, you're going to have some sort of idea of how you got there, and then really you just pour gas on the fire to get to 1 million.
Yeah, and it comes back to like the saving habits as well.
Yeah,
because like if you can't save for 100,000, you can't save for 1 million.
Exactly. That's inevitable because if you're like, oh, I'll get to 100, but if you really can't get to 100 because you keep ripping through that cash, there's no way you're ever getting to 1 million because that's 10 times. Yeah, 10 times. Tyler, anything else you want to mention here before we get into this week's business topic?
I don't know. I don't think so. Do you practice like visualization or do any of that like on the daily? Because I know other people do. I was just wondering about you.
I don't. The only I struggle with that word. The only visualization that I do is like when something in Vegas happens where you meet somebody and you start to like, that's kind of a clicking moment where I start to see the bigger picture. I'm like, man, I have Spencer in mind that he's editing. Matt's emailing me about him following up with clients to make sure things are staying afloat. Then I start to picture in my mind, well, it'd be cool if it looked like this, or how do I get to this point? The only other time I would ever do visualization, fucked it up again, stay hot, is when I'm laying in bed and I'm trying to fall asleep. A lot of times if I can't fall asleep, it's probably because I'm thinking about a lot of that stuff. But those are probably the only two. One, the spontaneous, and two is laying in bed. What about you?
Yeah, I need to do it more often. I hear a lot from, I know someone, they do it while they brush their teeth, and Andy says he does it while he brushes his teeth. And I know that's part of his Live Hard program in one of the months where you have to start visualizing for, I don't know, 15 minutes a day. So I do know that he does it a lot, and I have recently heard of other people that do it like while they're brushing their teeth or maybe they're showering, and I feel like I need to get into that a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm really bad at like picking up new habits, and I don't know why that is, but usually I'm good. I'm like, I'll do them for however long.
You're creating a label for yourself.
That is true. I shouldn't say that. I am great at creating new habits. Affirmations.
We'll see how that works.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think it's really good. It goes back to the visualization and the storyboard. You know, if you were to make sure every morning when you woke up, you looked for 10 minutes at your vision board, and you looked at that vision board and thought, this is what I want. This is what I want. And you thought about how you can get there for 10 minutes. You're going to be much more successful. So yeah, maybe I'll try to mix some of that in.
Yeah, I need to do it when I brush my teeth. Like when I first brush my teeth in the morning, I'm like just getting out of bed, so I'm still like trying to wake up. So that's not ideal timing. But one thing that I just before we get into the business idea about talking about labels and for yourself is just not really like labeling yourself that I'm smart or I'm whatever. It's actually taking the reasons as to why you believe that, because like sure you can say like you're not good at implementing new habits, but instead of saying like you just flipped it and you're like I am good at habits or I am good at implementing habits. It's not doing that, because like that's kind of similar to affirmations, flipping it, and it's like, okay, where are the actual behaviors that I've done that back it up to where I actually have had good habits? Because I'm sure you do have habits within your life, and there are some good habits there as well. It's like, okay, I wake up every morning and I work for 3 hours every day. That's a great habit to have. Mm-hmm. So it's just trying to find reinforcing habits or reinforcing behaviors that you do for that specific thing that you're, instead of affirmations, because it's like, okay, I can say that I'm smart every single day or I'm rich every single day, and it's not really going to do anything. Try and find the behaviors that I'm actually doing that constitute me being smart or constitute me being rich or wealthy or whatever it might be, or fit. And it's like, okay, I diet every day, I run every day, and I track all my health and nutrition stats. So that's why I am a healthy individual.
I like that. It made me think of one of the best habits I have, because I love it. After I shower, every single time I clean my ears with a Q-tip. Oh, I can't stand if I don't. When I go on vacations, I don't usually pack Q-tips just because I pack
Same.
like a hobo. I just put it in a little plastic bag. But
Same.
yeah, when I get back, clean my ears, I'm like, oh my gosh, what was I missing? So maybe I'll tie something to that. Maybe I'll staple a vision board onto my Q-tip jar.
Yeah, habit stacking.
I like it. Tyler, anything else to talk about the people? I thought it was a good episode. Law of attraction, people.
Yeah, that's about it. What's your business idea we got this week?
So I'm calling it the Motor Painter. Work in progress on the name for sure. But I was painting the office, the studio, and probably 9-10 foot ceilings, pretty high. And you obviously can't get the top trim while standing there unless you're like Manute Bull. But I'm up on a ladder, and I sit on the ladder at the top of it, and then I paint the top next to the ceiling, and I can get probably like 6 foot wide. And then after that, I have to go back down. I have to move the ladder 5 feet over, climb back up, sit there, do another 6 feet. And I did that process, I don't know how many times, 20 times, where it'd be awesome if you could have some sort of ladder or some sort of something you sit on up there, and it has like a little remote control where you go, zzz, and then it just moves down the wall for you. Almost like how a library that has really tall bookshelves has that moving ladder that slides back and forth. Something like that for painting, where you could sit at the top, do your trim work, and then zzz, move forward a little bit, do a little bit more trim work. I think that would change the game for painters.
It's a very niche product. Yeah. Actually, what I saw people, they would be on stilts, and then they would do it. So you don't even need a ladder.
But then you're standing. I really like the sitting aspect of it. Because it's meticulous, where it's like, maybe this isn't for good painters. I'm a bad painter. So like I'm up there, I'm really focusing. I'm like, do not get this shit on the ceiling. Whereas good painters are probably just ripping it. They freaking know their strokes so well, they don't even have to think about it. But yeah, especially if you're doing a huge space and you're on stilts, that might get kind of... And then if you're on stilts, dude, then you got to go back down and get paint. But if you run out of paint, that's going to be a hassle to get in and out of the stilts. I don't know, man. I think I got something here.
When you first said it, I was just thinking like a Roomba painter. It just like gets suctioned on your wall and it just like paints the wall for. But now that I think about it more, there's no way it would work because it's gonna be going over top of its own paint.
Yeah, unless it was like attached where the wall wasn't painted yet, and then it had like a brush that stuck out the top of it, and then only worked its way down, so it never overlapped. That might be something.
Yeah.
Roomba painter.
Could be.
Get on that, Dyson, or whoever the hell makes the Roomba.
I think Roomba makes Roomba.
Roomba probably makes the Roomba. That makes a lot of sense.
I think that would be a good guess.
Yeah. So all you painters out there, I'm pulling for you. I'm pushing for you. Create new products left and right. I hate painting. It sucks dick. But here we are.
Just hire a painter.
Yeah.
There's your problem.
Next time. I always start painting. I'm like, oh, I'll paint. Won't be that hard. And then I do 2 walls. And I'm like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever done.
Yeah.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Buy back your time.
Exactly. Listen to episode 87, people. That is a little plug for the episode. Tyler, anything else, or we'll wrap this sucker up, twin?
I think that's about it.
Go Edmonton Oilers. Go Minnesota Timberwolves. That's episode 88 of The Midnight Entrepreneur. If you have any questions you'd like us to cover or answer, you can email us at themidnightentrepreneur@gmail.com. And if you found value in this content or found this entertaining, share this with a friend or post it on your story. And if you really enjoyed the show, we'd love a rating and a review wherever you're listening. Talk to you guys next week for another episode of The Midnight Entrepreneur.
Nurture your mind with great thoughts, for you will never go any higher than you think. Benjamin Disraeli.